It's no secret that recently, there have been some new characters that have been on Fraud Watch due to how many L's they have taken in their respective series. Oliver from Invincible and Homelander from The Boys. But to be honest, Homelander has always been kind of a joke in the power scaling community, since he's basically a fish out of water. He's strong in his own verse, but if you put him in something like Dragon Ball, he's basically fodder. It's gotten so bad that people start putting these two characters against one another thinking it's close, but in reality it's not. So I figured I might as well make this video to quickly scale both of these characters' feats and lore to accurately explain why Oliver would absolutely destroy Homelander and his entire verse. And I'm going to start off talking about Homelander since it was my first video on the channel. And since I made that video, there have been a few changes to Homelander's scaling. Homelander would still be city blocks in terms of durability and attack potency, due to him surviving that explosion in Boys Diabolical. And quite recently, the statement from Stan Edgar in Gen V, confirming that he has power similar to that of a neutron bomb. Neutron bombs have a yield of around 1 to 10 kilotons of TNT, which in versus battle wiki terms would make this multi-city block to small town levels in terms of power. Now there are some people who try to scale Homelander higher due to him saying that he was going to, quote, wipe New York off the fucking map in season 3, which has always been kind of weak for me as it doesn't specify the time period of how fast he could perform this. This could range from Homelander destroying a couple buildings and streets and leaving it in ruins, or destroying the entire city in one attack. And given the feats in the show only range from building to wall level, this doesn't really support the second interpretation. I think it's more likely Homelander was talking about leaving the city in ruins and not obliterating it in one go. In addition, I also want to say, the Supes and the Boys have trash durability showings, like Homelander getting impaled by a metal rod by Maeve, Stormfront, who's supposed to be one of the stronger Supes in the series, getting stabbed by Becca, who has no powers by the way, and in the most recent episode where, spoilers, Black Noir gets killed with his own knife from the deep. People have defended this by saying it was Supes killing other Supes and that's why they were able to harm each other, which is a fair defense, but this doesn't really explain how Becca managed to blind Stormfront with a normal kitchen knife. But regardless, I want to move on to his speed, where things really get controversial. A-Train was shown to be able to perceive Homelander's lasers in slow motion, while saving Mother's Milk in the process and moving in to save Huey moments before the lasers hit his face, meaning A-Train and Homelander both possess faster than light movement and reaction times, which I take a lot of issue with, as this would contradict all of the previous feats in the past seasons. For example, A-Train in Season 1, who was amped by Compound V, which is the physical peak of A-Train, was only able to barely break the sound barrier. This would also ruin a lot of important plot points in the show, like if Homelander is really at the same speed of A-Train who can move faster than light, why didn't he save the people on Flight 37? If you can move 299,792,458 meters a second, why didn't he try and carry each of the passengers one by one to safety? So it's for this reason that this feat feels more like an outlier than an upgrade, and the writers just wanted to give an excuse for A-Train to aura farm before Homelander eventually kills him. If we ignore this, Homelander should still be around Mach 20 with him saving Butcher from that explosion in Season 1. But you know what, I am going to be generous to John and give him this upscale, just so he can have a fighting chance against Oliver. So to wrap it up, Homelander would be around multi-city block to small town level in terms of attack potency, with him ranging from being 20 times faster than sound to being able to move faster than light. So how would this compare to Oliver? Despite Oliver getting a lot of hate for his performance in the Viltrumite War, go easy on him, he's like 2 years old. He is not weak by any means. For low-end interpretations, Oliver was able to make Omni-Man bleed, and this is no small feat, as it takes a lot of energy to damage Viltrumites. As in Season 1, it takes 2 shots from Cecil's hammer satellite to make Omni-Man bleed, and Omni-Man taking the first blow of the hammer was calculated to be 1.9 megatons of TNT, enough to destroy a small city, meaning every time Oliver throws a punch, he is packing more power than Homelander's higher ends. And it doesn't even end there, as a child, he was able to knock Conquest back with a single punch, who is the second strongest Viltrumite in Invincible just below Thrag? He would have to be somewhat relative to Mark in order to do this, who at that point possesses multi-continental attack potency just by him jumping off the moon and creating that massive crater. So yeah, Homelander is looking pretty cooked right now. Oliver as a child is already demonstrating enough power to flick Homelander like a fly. And I haven't even talked about Oliver's speed yet. Even Mark has stated that Oliver is quite fast, a huge upscale since Viltrumites are able to move millions of times faster than the speed of light via traveling galactic distances in the universe. So at this point, do I even need to go on? Invincible characters are just on another level compared to the boys. Most of the superhumans in the boys only scale to around wall to small building level in terms of power, with Lamplighter being able to melt down metal with his fire in season 2. And Lamplighter was in the 7 at one point. Being building level is considered strong in this verse. That is enough to get you into the 7. Now, let's compare this with the original Guardians of the Globe, where Immortal, who is another character that viewers clown on due to him losing most of his fights in the show, was able to trade blows with Omni-Man. And if you count the whole team, they were actually able to make Omni-Man struggle and cause him to fall unconscious. Ignoring the massive stat gap between the two verses, Oliver is a better fighter and has been trained by Omni-Man and Mark, who are both seasoned superheroes who actually fight real threats and deal with planet-ending events. Whereas superheroes in the boys only have to deal with normal civilians with guns and bank robbers. People really need to stop doing these Invincible versus the boys matchup, since it's automatically gonna be an L for the boys. Oliver fights in Homelander's direction and he dies. End of. Like and subscribe.